Hello everyone, this is Buddha Zen Wisdom. We accompany you every day. Today we will discuss the 5 major bankruptcy traps. Many people may not realize their severity. If you fall into 2 of them, your later years could be at risk. As the saying goes, listen to the words of the elders, and you won't encounter great difficulties. Failing to heed the advice of the elderly can lead to regrets in old age. We all know that although elderly people experience a decline in physical abilities, their wisdom and experience are far beyond what young people can comprehend. However, in reality, many elders destroy their later years through poor decision-making. Why is it that some elderly individuals, even with considerable retirement funds and spacious homes, still fall into financial difficulties or even face bankruptcy? This situation may be more common than we think, quietly occurring around us. Have you ever felt similar confusion or worried about falling into these traps? Hello everyone, welcome to Buddha Zen. Next, let's uncover these seemingly insignificant but highly destructive bankruptcy traps. If you find this video helpful, please subscribe and like Buddha Zen, and don't forget to share it with your friends. Thank you for your support. 1. Parental help is always required. Children are the apple of their parents' eye. Parents naturally want to help their children. Generally speaking, it is a beautiful thing for parents to help take care of grandchildren and enjoy family life after retirement. However, this is not the case in some families. When children reach their 30s or 40s and are still unmarried, or have married but achieved nothing, faced with such unworthy offspring, parents often indulge them even more. As a result, children become accustomed to relying on their parents. In a village, there is an elderly couple whose later years are incredibly miserable, which surprises those who know them. Back in the day, the grandfather was the village secretary, and the grandmother was an excellent worker. In the village, although their family conditions were not wealthy, they were among the better-off families. The couple was known for their honesty, fair dealings, and harmonious relations with the villagers, who all respected them for their character. However, this kind-hearted couple raised an unfilial son. They have 2 sons. The elder son is hardworking, capable, and politically astute, having established his family and lived a prosperous life without causing his parents any worry. In stark contrast, the younger son squandered years in reckless living, even bringing home a pregnant woman. The helpless parents had to hold a wedding for them, but the younger son failed to lead a decent life, constantly changing partners. Ultimately, the daughter-in-law left him, abandoning 2 young children. The younger son directly handed the children to his parents. Unexpectedly, 3 years later, the younger son brought back another woman and married her. This second daughter-in-law gave birth to a pair of twins. But he was still not a responsible person. He was lazy and only cared for his own children, neglecting the children of his first wife. The elderly couple, nearly 70 years old, not only had to strain themselves to raise the 2 children from the first daughter-in-law, but also had to help care for the twins. They even had to work in the fields to support their grandchildren. It was truly a painful situation. Thus, parents must push their children to be independent, maintain economic discipline, and sometimes, being tough is real love. 2. Trading homes while in debt. Everyone knows that having a golden nest or silver nest is not as good as having your own doghouse. But what kind of house constitutes a good doghouse? This is indeed worth pondering. It doesn't necessarily mean bigger is better, and it doesn't always have to be new. Chasing after a big house after retirement, or thinking about buying a second property, or relocating, can often be very challenging and may turn all your savings into housing, even risking over a decade of retirement funds. This is highly inadvisable. After all, life expectancy is unpredictable. What if you don't live to be 80 or 90? Old Wang is an example. He originally lived comfortably in his house, but to support his son, he sold the house and used the money to buy a school district home for his grandson, promising to live together. However, it wasn't long before he was squeezed out by his daughter-in-law. He and his wife had no choice but to rent a poor-quality, low-rent house, struggling to get by. Therefore, when reaching old age, one must ensure they have a stable living situation. 3. Health issues. In the first few years after retirement, many people are still in good health, eating well and enjoying life, so they neglect physical exercise. Some elderly retirees develop habits like staying up late, playing mahjong, or dancing at public squares without moderation, even dancing for hours on end. There are also those who take on jobs, working day and night, feeling happy to be busy and earning money to spend on their children. However, when their health deteriorates, they realize that health is the greatest wealth. It was common to see an elderly man practicing Tai Chi in the morning, but one day it was heard that he suffered a stroke and was bedridden. After he was bedridden, his son and daughter-in-law, busy with work, had no time to care for him, so they hired a caregiver. One day, when his son and daughter-in-law visited, he cried with a twisted mouth, hoping his son could take him home for care. But in the end, his wishes were not fulfilled. The elderly man, disappointed and heartbroken, shed tears. Not long after, a funeral was held. Plato once said, "There is nothing happier than being healthy." Although many people do not realize that health is the greatest happiness until they fall ill. Therefore, in old age, if one loses their health, living can be quite painful. 4. Losing capital in the pursuit of wealth. We often hear about elderly people being scammed. Rather than blaming the scammers for their lack of integrity, we should reflect on why the elderly are tempted by cheap deals. Scammed elderly individuals often have a mindset of seeking bargains, or hope to make a fortune in their later years. A good piece of advice says, you focus on their profits, while they are focused on your capital. Many seemingly enticing offers are, in fact, bait, easily leading people into traps. Oldly retired and was captivated by the persuasive explanations of an investment manager. He became obsessed with investing and financial management, taking out all his capital to have them manage it for him, hoping daily for high returns. However, the long wait brought him only a visit from the police. He had fallen victim to a scam. Thus, we must guard our wallets. Do not believe that free lunch will fall from the sky, and do not dream of making quick fortunes. Even projects introduced by relatives or friends should be approached with caution. Those who can deceive you are often people you know well. Therefore, be vigilant and treat money with caution. If you don't understand, it's wise to ask your children and think things through. 5. Couples turning against each other. The Qing dynasty scholar Jining once said, "Those without virtue are not few, and those who drink excessively are bound to harm themselves." Many elderly people are enthusiastic about twilight romance, thinking they can still find true love in their later years. Yet they are unaware that such romances may come with ulterior motives. Some people approach relationships for personal gain. Mr. Zheng loved dancing in his youth, and he was quite talented in it. After retiring, he spent his days dancing with old friends, especially enjoying social dances for seniors. Over time, he developed unusual feelings for a dance partner. As the saying goes, you can't hide fire with paper. Nothing is truly secret. His spouse quickly found out about it. His partner not only argued with him at home, but also caused a scene at the dance hall, leading to a public confrontation. His spouse even filed for divorce. And in the end, they really did separate. However, his relationship with the dance partner also went nowhere. He could no longer dance and ended up lonely. Thus, in old age, one should abandon unrealistic fantasies. A companion in old age is the best relationship. Throughout life, one treads on thin ice, facing a deep abyss. Anyone's later years may encounter various issues, but some people manage to navigate through smoothly, while others find themselves in difficulty. When one reaches old age, they are at an age where they cannot afford to lose. Having a small house, a companion by your side, and children who can stand on their own is sufficient. One need not pursue wealth or yearn for true love. Only then can one enjoy a peaceful old age. The ancients said, "Life is 1 foot long, but the journey is 1,000 miles long. What do you think? Please share your thoughts in the comments. Your voice matters. Let's continue to discuss how to help the elderly live fulfilling lives. The Buddha is with you. See you tomorrow.